Tonight, reform surge as the Tories slump in the local elections. Hertfordshire falls out of Conservative control, but the Lib Dems fail to gain a majority. Meanwhile, Nigel Farage's party celebrate a clean sweep in Kent.
I think there's a lot of disenfranchised people in this country at this moment in time. They're looking for an alternative.
You're rapist, Mr. Brand.
Are you guilty or not guilty, Russell
Also
Brand?
ahead, Russell Brand in court over historical allegations of rape and sexual assault. A step too far, outrage after a kebab shop in South London uses footage of a man being tasered by police as part of an online ad.
He's just been shocked, flat out on the floor, and they've turned him into a kebab.
And one of the stars of Top Boy now launching London's newest venue. Good evening. There has been a seismic shift in the political landscape of some of England's councils, including in the home counties. Once Conservative strongholds have been decimated, with Nigel Farage's party gaining more control and the Liberal Democrats finally making headway in true blue areas. Before the election, Hertfordshire, Buckinghamshire and Kent were all Tory-held. Today, that changed, though they are predicted to hold on to Bucks. Kent was overpowered by a Reform UK clean sweep, and the Lib Dem surge in Hertfordshire meant it fell to no overall control. We'll have the breakdown on all the results we've had so far with our political correspondent Simon Harris in just a moment. But before that, he spent the day in Hemel Hempstead to see Hertfordshire's Tory council fall.
Commonly known as Smith Right Caroline, Liberal Democrats, 1,411.
Hertfordshire Conservatives expected a hammering from the Lib Dems, and they got one. But it was the unexpected surge in support for Reform UK, which also torpedoed Tory hopes.
And I do hereby declare that Christopher Lancelot Gerard Wright is duly elected.
Hemel Hempstead St Paul's was just one of Reform's victories here, as support for the Conservatives evaporated.
Were you expecting to be elected?
I was ambitious enough. Expecting, no. But so I'm absolutely delighted.
At the Windmill Cafe on the St Paul's estate in Hemel Hempstead, some customers had cast their vote, others hadn't bothered.
They always lie. They say they're going to help the youngsters and they don't. So I didn't vote at all.
Do any of the parties have policies that appeal to you?
Where's that pig flying?
I never voted or nothing.
Why not?
Just had enough of it. I'm 80 years old and I've seen a few.
I voted, I always vote, and I voted Liberal Democrats, and the reason I voted for them, because the fellow where I am in Bushy, he does a lot for the local area.
How did you vote yesterday?
Liberal. Well, I live in Bushy, it's a big Liberal, area.
Like much of home counties commuter land, Hertfordshire was for a long time regarded as a Conservative stronghold. But in the Tory wipeout at last year's general election, Labour won 7 of the county's 12 parliamentary seats. Yet it was the Lib Dems who thought they had the best chance of taking control of the county council.
I think many people have been disillusioned previously with the Conservatives, now with Labour, and they're looking and realise that as Liberal Democrats we're delivering and working hard for people, whether that's locally or in Parliament.
Are you surprised at the Reform vote here?
I am slightly surprised.
The Reform juggernaut left the Conservative council leader Richard Roberts looking anxious. His Reform challenger in Kings Langley used to support him.
My opponent, Richard Roberts, he's a very formidable opponent. He's been a councillor since 2003.
Someone you voted for in the past?
Correct. Well, 4 years ago, there was no Reform candidate standing, and I voted for Richard Roberts.
In the end, Councillor Roberts hung on to his seat, but he knew he was no longer in charge of the council.
Nobody has got an overall majority, so it is a council and no overall control, and so we'll await to see quite how that falls out.
Will you consider going into coalition with Reform?
I will probably not consider going in coalition with anybody.
For more than 50 years, the Conservatives were always the largest party on Hertfordshire Council, and for much of that time were in control. But not now.
Well, Simon is still in Hemel Hempstead for us this evening. And Simon, that wasn't the only place in the home counties that had a shock reform surge.
Yes, Lucrezia, if the poll results here in Hertfordshire sent tremors through the Tory party, it's nothing compared to the political earthquake a little further around the M25 in Kent, where the Conservatives not only lost control of the county council, but were practically wiped out. We were watching the results unfold in Dartford, where Reform UK picked up all of the seats that were being contested in that area and in neighbouring Gravesham. At the end of the counting, the Conservatives now have the same number of seats as the Greens. They've lost more than 50 seats to Reform UK, which is now in control of Kent County Council.
I think there's a lot of disenfranchised people in this country at this moment in time. They're looking for an alternative. Well, we can change a lot of things. I mean, look what Donald Trump is doing in America. He's changing a lot of positions on DEI. He's changing a lot of money wastage. So we can do the same thing here.
There may be some crumbs of comfort for the Conservative Party in the other one of the home counties where voters went to the polls, that's Buckinghamshire. Counting is still going on there. So far, Reform have picked up just one seat. The Conservatives remain the largest party of the votes counted, and that may possibly change, but it seems unlikely in Buckinghamshire. One final thought from Hertfordshire. The Lib Dems now run the council, but with no overall control. They must see if they can make it work like that, or perhaps come up with a coalition with some of the smaller parties or independents.
All right, Simon in Hemel Hempstead, thank you. Next tonight, Russell Brand was granted bail at Westminster Magistrates Court today after being charged with rape, indecent assault and 2 counts of sexual assault. The allegations from 4 separate women date as far back as 1999. 3 of the alleged offences happened here in London. He has always denied engaging in non-consensual activity. Well, after being charged by Post last month, the actor and comedian said he was grateful for the opportunity to defend the charges in court. With the latest, here's our senior correspondent, Ronke Phillips.
When the comedian arrived at Westminster Magistrates Court, a large crowd of photographers and media were already waiting. All right. Surrounded by his own security team with police watching on, it took Brand almost 2 minutes to reach the entrance to the court. He didn't respond to questions or smile, but did occasionally stop and look directly at the cameras. The 49-year-old, who now lives in America, was charged by Post last month. The charges relate to 4 separate women. He's accused of a rape in the Bournemouth area in 1999 and of committing an indecent assault in Westminster 2 years later. The charge sheet also includes a second allegation of rape in 2004 and sexually assaulting a woman between 2004 and 5.
Hey, all right there, I'm Russell.
Brand began his career as a comedian and later moved on to fronting his own show before becoming the host of a Big Brother spin-off programme. He was once married to the US singer Katy Perry. He was not asked to enter a plea, but has always denied the charges and has previously used his podcast to proclaim his innocence. Brand left the court after being granted bail. He was told his next court appearance would be at the Old Bailey. The comedian once again found himself being filmed by a bank of cameras as he walked to his car. Ronke Phillips, ITV News.
Some other news now, and a man has denied murdering an East London schoolboy during an alleged 20-minute rampage with 2 swords. 15-year-old Daniel Angerin died in Hainault in April last year. Marcus Arduini Monzo is accused of slashing the teenager as he walked to school. He denies 8 of the 10 counts against him, but has admitted 2 counts of having an offensive weapon. A trial is set to start in June. And the coroner has said that an 11-year-old girl who died after entering the River Thames likely died quickly due to the effects of cold water. Kalia Coe was reported missing after playing near a causeway in Woolwich in March, and her body was recovered 2 weeks later. A post-mortem suggested Kalia did not die by drowning. A South London kebab shop has been slammed for using footage of a man being tasered by the police to promote its business on social media. Shawarma Hut London in Elephant and Castle could be seen in the background of the clip, prompting it to incorporate the incident into its own version of satirical marketing. But for those who've been subjected to police tasers, the traumatic experience is no laughing matter. Katho Patter reports.
For independent businesses, adverts are a vital way of drumming up customers, but one video posted by this restaurant has been accused of poor taste.
For the most electrifying shawarma meal deals in South London. Make sure you
to promote food, that's insane, man. Insane. Yeah, disgusting, man. Like, he's just been shocked, like, you know, flat out on the floor. And, you know, they've turned him into a kebab. Like, it's comical, it's disrespectful.
5 years ago, a taser was held to Jamal's neck, and he feels this advert is a mockery of his trauma.
How do you feel if someone took your experience, the experience you went through with a taser, and used it in that type of advert?
I'll be hurt. I'll definitely be hurt, man. Like, even just for my family as well, like for my mum to then turn on the TV and see that, she'll be absolutely like fuming.
The Metropolitan Police say they were called here last Wednesday after reports of a man behaving aggressively. A taser was discharged as a precautionary measure to prevent the man from harming himself or others. The advert has since been removed from TikTok for violating its guidelines. But for one expert, bad press can be good.
I mean, they have been successful in their marketing strategy. We might not like it, but the fact that we're talking about it on the news now, the fact that it has gone viral and has gathered a huge amount of people watching it, lots of reach, lots of momentum, would say that actually it's been a very effective marketing strategy for them to get their brand, their name and their product out there.
At lunchtime, the Shawarma Hut was bustling with customers, despite the criticism of its taste in advertising.
Make sure you visit us.
Katho Patter, ITV News.
Where for only...
Still to come on the programme, the art trail in Camden telling the story of a community in the shadow of HS2, and...
You told Sugar you could sell all over London, so take your food and go sell.
How one of the stars of Top Boy is bringing a little slice of Soho to E17. But first, a mother from South London who has undergone years of gruelling medical treatment says one of the most vital forms of therapy for her is music. Reshma Sultana has been passionate about singing since she was a teenager and says it's helped her through her often scary journey living with multiple sclerosis. Well, this week is MS Awareness Week, and to mark the occasion, Reshma has released her soul-bearing debut single. Sally Williams went to meet her.
Like every artist, Reshma Sultana has a story. Hers is one of incredible resilience and a lot of pets.
We must start with the dog. This is
Of course.
Habibi.
Habibi, yeah, he's 8 years old.
Oh, and one of how many?
8.
And
I
how
love
many
them.
cats do you have?
I think
Wait
up
for
to
it.
37. Yeah, I just...
That's
They're all rescues.
But besides rescuing animals, Reshma has been working on an album for 10 years, and finally her first song is out there.
I've given it my best, so I'm praying the rest is in the hands of God.
But Reshma has faced many hurdles to get here, one of which started with her balance.
My mum had a physiotherapist. I called her over. I said, Jane, I can't walk. And then I said, look, watch me come down the stairs. I'm coming down like my balance is bad. She said, Reshma, has your writing changed? I said, funny you say that, it has.
She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a lifelong illness which affects the nerves.
I didn't want to know anything on the MS Society. I thought, no, I'm going to beat it, I'm going to beat it, I'm going to be fine.
But things continued to go downhill when she later had a treatment that left her with kidney failure.
So I have dialysis 3 times a week.
Do you? Is that a huge thing to undergo?
It's horrendous.
But Reshma has fought back to make her music dream a reality. helped in large part by her animals. She's been inspired by the likes of
Luther Vandross, Alexandra O'Neill, Tina Turner, Madonna.
Some people have tried to stand in her way.
I remember one of the guys saying on the phone to me, "You can't even walk, so how are you going to perform?" And I thought, you know what? I'm going to show you. I'll do it in my wheelchair.
And show them she is. Rishma's releasing her song in MS Awareness Week and longs to help others through the MS Society. Whatever she does, the animals will be with her.
My husband says to me, "You tricked me." He said, "When I met you, you only had one cat."
Now all 37, 8 dogs, and 2 goats are right behind this music-making woman as she realises her dreams. Sally Williams, ITV News, Streatham.
Now, tonight's guest is not content with being an award-winning actor. He's also a playwright and a director, and he starred in hit TV shows including The Unforgotten and Top Boy.
Sugar needs to realise that we're just getting started.
Sugar understands that. That's why he's being generous and giving you to the end of the month to come back with the money.
Talking about to the end of the month, bro. We need longer than that, man.
You told Sugar you could sell all over London. So take your food and go sell.
Well, now Alessandro Babalola is adding creative associate to his CV as co-chair of the Soho Theatre, Walthamstow, London's newest venue, which opens tonight. And I'm delighted to say Alessandro joins me now. Hello, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Soho Theatre, it's iconic, and now it's moved to Walthamstow, new location, second venue.
Yeah, you know, East London's always had a great history of creativity, especially Waltham Forest, and being born and raised there, it's a pleasure for me to bring it.
You're a Leighton boy, aren't you? Down the road?
Born and raised, exactly.
Yeah.
So I first went to Soho Theatre at 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
And then I went on to win an Olivier at Soho Theatre. I got scouted for Top Boy at Soho Theatre, and then I realised Soho Theatre was opening up a theatre in Walthamstow, so it's just like my life was triangulating.
Yeah, I love the way you just gave me your whole CV again.
Necessary.
It's pretty impressive, it really is. I mean, let's just talk about the show, because it's got inaugural production tonight, which is Natalie Palamida's We're. So it's the first show that's happening this evening. What's that all about?
So Natalie Palamides is an extraordinary artist. She is like as strange and as wonderful and as out there as it gets. She's American. She started at Soho Theatre years ago with her debut show, and she's gone on to become like a phenomenon. Essentially, this is a one-person show in which she plays a couple and takes you on a real odyssey. You definitely need to see it.
Yeah. Listen, you mentioned there already, award-winning. You got your Olivier Award. Let's just take a listen. Let's remind you of that moment.
The Olivier goes to Flesh and Bone at the Soho Theatre.
I mean, look, getting awards is always fantastic, but to get an Olivier is pretty special, isn't it? What was that moment like for you?
It was an amazing moment because, you know, we worked so hard on that production, myself, Elliot, Olivia, the whole Unpolished team. We weren't expecting anything like that from it. We just wanted to give people a great show. So then when you get that kind of reward, it just makes you think hard work truly does pay off.
Yeah, and you do work hard, don't you? Because you've got so many strings to your bow. I mean, you do it all. Do you sing the theme tune as well?
I can sing, you know.
You can sing.
I can play piano.
Oh my gosh,
if
you can do everything.
If you had a piano here, I would have done something for you.
And what people at home won't know is you also speak amazing Spanish, because you were just speaking to me in Spanish. But listen,
yo intento, sí.
Oh, it's so good. But you're also part of a show like Top Boy. I mean, that's completely different as well from the stage. I mean, it's such a huge hit. What is it like being on that?
Top Boy is an iconic London show. It's from East London, and you know, it's got legends like Ashley Walters, Kano. So to even be a part of the kind of mythology of a show like that will stand the test of time. You know, my son, he always asks me, Dad, can I be in Top Boy? But he's not even old enough to watch it. You know what I mean?
No,
so,
gosh.
Yeah.
Do you get recognised then? Because shows like that, I mean, you're going to get recognised on the street, aren't you?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Really?
And I don't get tired of it. It's like, I remember once when I was younger watching an interview where Lionel Richie said that he feels a pleasure that people stop him in the streets to say hello to him because he knows he's brightening up their day.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel a little something like that.
Yeah.
So it's always a pleasure to take a picture with fans, etc., etc.
Yeah. I mean, one thing we didn't actually say in our lead into you, you've also been in 2 Guy Ritchie movies.
Yeah.
Now, what's it like working with him? Huge film director, right?
Huge film director, genius. He works very fast. The script is never the same as what you've rehearsed. He's constantly making people come up with things in the moment. You can see why he's become such a legend. He's honestly, his mind is incredible, and I love working with him.
And the good thing about him, once he has his favourites, because you've already been in 2 movies.
He kind
of sticks sticks with you, doesn't he?
Guy, if you're watching this, I'm always happy to be in another one of your films, just to let you know. And come down to Soho Theatre Walthamstow, Guy. He loves East London, you know. Guy Ritchie loves East London. So, Guy Ritchie, I'm asking you, come down to Soho Theatre Walthamstow. You will love it.
You know what? I really hope that Guy Ritchie is watching, and I really hope he hears your call to go to the Soho Theatre Walthamstow. We'll all have to check it out as well. Listen, Alessandro, Babalola, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Pleasure.
All right, let's find out what's on the evening news. Here's Charlene.
Coming up at 6:30, all the fallout from the local elections. Nigel Farage shakes up the political landscape as Reform wins the Runcorn by-election by just 6 votes. Russell Brand appears in court over historical allegations of rape and sexual assault. And the mother of Branajai is taking on a triathlon with a 9-year-old boy for charity. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
Now, it was slightly cooler today than it was yesterday, but how is it looking for the bank holiday long weekend? Here's Nick with the forecast.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors ITV London weekend weather.
Hello, been very warm again today, and cloud has built up this afternoon, giving the potential for a late day shower or thunderstorm. There is, though, a lot of dry weather still in this forecast. Even though there is change to talk about, that change concerns the feel of the weather, particularly by Sunday. Turning much cooler, more cloud around, the chillier feel enhanced by a northeasterly breeze will be quite brisk as well. Temperatures falling down close to or even below the average for the time of year, as around this area of high pressure, keeping things mainly dry, we bring a new air mass our way, the change of colour indicating those lowering temperatures enhanced on that northeasterly breeze. We're not there yet, though. It is a warm evening out there with that potential for 1 or 2 downpours. Not everybody's seeing them, even though you might want that in your garden. And once that potential has cleared away, the rest of the night is looking dry. 9 to 12 degrees to start the day tomorrow. Now, initially a bit of cloud starting to drift from the south, and then more cloud coming down from the north through the day tomorrow. It will stay mainly dry, mind you, but overall a cloudier story. Still some pleasant sunny spells, though, and still some warmth. We're talking high teens and low 20s. The change, you'll notice it, will be out and about on Sunday. There will be quite a bit of cloud around coming down on this northeasterly flow. May introduce 1 or 2 light showers, especially the further east you are. Still some sunny spells, the best of these to the west, but notice these temperatures 11 to 15 degrees just a few days after we peaked at 29. Of course, this is much more typical for the time of year. High pressure in control. Much, if not all, of next week is looking dry. Temperatures recovering a little bit towards the end of the week.
TUI sponsors ITV London weekend weather.
And finally, in the shadow of HS2, residents of a Camden social housing estate have commissioned a series of public arts installations to draw attention away from demolition and development. Old Diorama Arts Centre worked with more than 1,600 local residents to bring 28 new public artworks to the area in a project called the Regent's Park Estate Story Trail. Siham Ali went along for a look.
Colour and community adorn Camden's largest social housing estate. New art installations have made a home at Regent's Park Estate with one goal in mind: to tell the stories of the residents who live here.
Regent's Park Estate has more than 2,000 households. The estate makes up a large proportion of the Regent's Park ward as well. So it's a small village in itself, sort of sandwiched between the Euston Road and Regent's Park. And HS2 has also really cut it off at the north corner to Camden, so it's got its own identity to it and a really strong sense of community. This is a project where residents have conceived it, been supported to develop it, and it's happened in a short time, and they can really see their input.
The artwork has been funded by HS2, and the goal is to champion the community that has been left reeling from demolition and disruption. Artist duo Yara and Davina worked with local women to send a message of empowerment.
So we're a social practice artist duo, which means we're really passionate about working with society, with people. And essentially what we love to do is subvert everyday objects to create meaning. And so when we were asked by ODAC to create a permanent artwork, we thought, why not play and subvert a manhole cover and turn it into a woman hole cover? Another one of the woman hole covers says on it simply, don't get walked over. Well, who don't we want to get walked over by, and what? It's not for us to say. These are questions we're asking the women that we worked with.
As you journey through the large estate, you'll come across artwork both big and small. The one that really halts traffic is this portrait mural.
It's a selection of portraits and still lives. The portraits are obviously the people that live here, but some people, for maybe personal or cultural reasons, didn't want their face in the pictures. So we invited people to bring objects, heirlooms, things that were important to them. We took one of the empty flats on the estate and transformed the kitchen into the camera, the living room into a studio, and then a dark room we constructed in the bedroom of the flat. So all of these images are made in that flat.
For residents at the heart of this, the concept is both heartwarming and welcomed.
I lived here for 5 years, and this installation means let's say a fresh air and you know, putting color in people's life, I would say, literally, and you know, making everybody smile and, you know, their voices to be heard mostly.
If you look closely, there's now a message on every corner celebrating this close-knit community. Siham Ali, ITV News.
And that is it from us. The evening news is next with Charlene, but for now, from all of us on the London team, bye-bye. Have a great weekend.